trap or a 1,000,000-pound trap, if they can get you with a 2-ounce hook, they got you. They don't care, right? They just gonna study you till they find out what they can get you with. After a while, this stuff gets on psycho to psycho. Psychological guerrilla warfare means that we want to calm you down, boss man, and we want to move this into psychological warfare instead of physical. We don't want to kill the poor brother just for that, just for not doing what you say. They accepted it. Nigga, psychological, nigga, you're basically stupid. You've been in our prisons, we done studied everything about you. We know you. That's true. But guess what? We know them. Now comes the thing. How do you apply what you know? That's where our friends go wrong. You got to remember, we have told all our friends, you are improving, but the world is traveling at 100 miles an hour and you're improving at 40 miles an hour. You're behind the curve. Does anybody remember that? What happened with Equan? What happened with everybody? Oh, okay. Now, we said about some of our real friends that they were doing the same thing. Iran has the best foreign ministry and ambassadors, I believe, in almost in the world. They really up to par. They got it going on. Why? They had 40 years to do it, and they don't waste anybody. You know what I mean? If you were a president, you don't get retired. You get, Ahmadinejad has a headquarters in Iran right now. He has a whole compound, a whole staff. I mean, a big one, you know what I mean? He's on the Expediency Council. Everybody that is a president or a big shot, they don't throw him away or retire him. They put him on. The brother this morning that made the lecture about Agha Soleimani, Qasem Soleimani, was Musa Rajai. Musa Rajai, he was the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guards in 1980. He ran for president and stuff like that. But whenever they need somebody like that, they bring him out. Why? Because he's the one that gave the history of our brother. Just a couple hours ago, he gave the history. Why? Because he's the one that started the Islamic Revolutionary Guards. Well, the first big leader, all during the war, he was there. Yeah, okay. They don't waste nobody. For us, we analyzed the United States several times. During the black movement, we analyzed it. We analyzed it. We're only Negroes that got big money, left the country with money, and helped the rebellion overseas. There's nobody, if you find somebody that did it, just let me know. Nobody did it. Nobody did that. Then went to South America. You got to remember, those things are strategic and global. When I go to South America, I have no connections, no nothing. I just know that's what has to be done. We got to raise money for the brothers over in Africa, and they're college people. They don't know nothing. Hell, they don't know nothing about big money. They're good people. They're Afrocentric. They're good people. You know, they have visitors. Once we had a visitor. Y'all ever heard of Gwendolyn Brooks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a great writer.
Yep.
She came over. It was in July. We ate at an Indian restaurant. You know, and it was a nice group of artists and writers. That's what I was the only gangster there. But I was the youngest there too. So I went up and gave her a kiss and everything. Everybody said, yeah, you know. So anyway, no. But I mean, remember, we're in exile and we're over there, and somebody from back home, it reminds you of your mother or your grandmother, all that stuff, you know, kind of sentimental stuff. But there's nobody that done none of those things. And this is the third or fourth stage of our development. Number one, we just started talking about East Oakland Enterprises, you know what I mean. That means it's the only successful Black economic enterprise zone. Martin Luther King tried it in '68, right? In Chicago, it failed. It didn't have time. It worked in Oakland. The goal was everybody ought to have money. It was pure Black nationalism. We controlled what came in the community, what left, what circulated in the community, and it was the first time people 18, 19, 20 years old had their own businesses, could feed their families, had their own homes. All of that. That's what we did. Then we left the country. Why? Simple. Life expectancy of a Negro in America doing what we're doing is 22, 25, 30 years if he's lucky. So goodbye, boss man, see you later. It's simple. Nobody else did it. Do you know niggas get cases where they'll get 100 years and they go right down to the court, they bail out, they out running around, $1 million bail. And they go right back to the court and go right to the penitentiary. Insanity. If I had a case like that, which I did, see y'all later, bail out, cash money. Could I tell y'all a little bit about one of these incidents? I got a letter from the government in a government envelope, something, it said something or other. So when I got arrested now, my bail was $15,000. Okay, to you, that don't sound like much, but that's like that time, 10 times, 150,000. So then my Jewish lawyer talked funny, so I told him I'd bust him upside the head, and I was kind of furious the way he was acting. So when we went into the court, I talked a little tough to the judge. And the judge said, we're increasing your bail $20,000. It's like $200,000. So now my bail, but I could give $20,000. Now when I'm ready to leave the country, the day before I leave, I'm having a hearing at the court. I said, well, the government done sent me this here check. This here, he never looked at it. And I owe the government so much money. Could you release that last $20,000 I gave y'all? He said, well, you seem like you said it. Yeah, I release it. Got my 20 grand, and I said goodbye, y'all. Now I had all my other money, but I just, you want it. See, you got to be able, Jamil couldn't do that, right? His attitude wouldn't allow him to play with the white man like that. I'd do it anytime, all the time. Oh, boss man, you wouldn't hurt the brother, would you? Right? What the hell I care about, right? That's the combination. The old Negroes could do that. But they was too martyred. Anyway, I say, Your Honor, the government sent me this here. I didn't care what it was. I don't even remember what it was. But it was a government envelope, a big square one. You know, like I owe you. I said, Your Honor, if you could just, it was Judge Real, Emmanuel Real, down there in L.A. I got that money and I was gone. And happy as I could be. Here's what I'm saying. Strategic management under conditions of repression. That's over 10 years ago, right? That's 10 years ago. All of those things we have to incorporate. Personally, I've had experienced all of the movements. You know what the white man that said the other day, what's his name, Meeks, the guy down there, what do they call that, the Muslims, something or other? They ain't looking out for no Muslims. They're looking out for themselves. You ought to see them fundraisers. But anyway, whether it's Meeks or Weeks or anybody else, right? We have to take care of ourselves. We have to defend our own self. We have to develop our own policies. Okay. Now, every now and then in history Allah gives people certain gifts. If they use them, they develop. Like I say, some people can run real fast. You know, I could never run real fast. But I could run a marathon easy, 26 miles, at a nice pace, you know. I could do a 3-hour marathon just nice. But if I ran any faster, I'd burn up, you know, because I couldn't run that fast. But what I mean is, if a speed runner was running at 70 and I was keeping up with him, I'd be running 100. That's as fast as I can run. And you can't run too far running that fast. For you. But I get out on all them quick runners, shoot, we get a pace, I'd be out on running a marathon, 26 easy. Never a problem. Okay. Use the gifts you have. Okay, I am going to move toward a close. In this period, during this historical period, and it's on paper and it's on all these CDs, and I assume that y'all are here as witnesses, because no, 10% of the stuff you didn't heard it yourself, right? And all of it has been accurate, deadly accurate, and out of sync with the Negroes. Nobody's in sync with this, but us right here. Okay, that means that's an honor, that's a privilege, and if you don't use your gift, the Quran is clear that if you don't use what I give you, I'm going to replace you with another people. You'll be replaced. So we have to do with pleasure this job. Okay? We have to bring the Muslims along and the American people along. That's our responsibility. All of us are going to have to really improve and meet and think on our skills, right? We can't do it with a handful of people here. We have to each improve and we have to teach, it's called strategic depth. It's like if they kill the brother, they think they done finished off the thing. No, but they got deep, 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 right? That's what we're heading into right now. Not all in a panic, we got to hurry up. No, at a nice pace. We set our own pace. But this is our duty and this is our responsibility. Remember, overseas, the stage is set. Anybody would have to be blind not to see. Right. That's too sweet. That's too sweet. That's too sweet. Even the person that they martyred, or both those persons, they couldn't have pulled this off in their lifetime. Their martyrdom did it. They just couldn't have did it. You know. Anyway, let me just mention a few more things. Put focus university, enhanced, fortified, assisted to goal. Trump is an accelerator. Yes, he is. He's an accelerator. Just smash on him, and he speeds everything up. This thing has been speeded up. Okay, violation. Okay, we know about violation of Iraqi sovereignty. All of that would come under, they voted today to get rid of the United States. That's that. So that means however it happens, eventually the U.S. got to go. Whether they balk and say we stand anyway, or the people war against them. They still got to go. They got to go. They just got to go. They can sit there on that news and lie all they want. And you have to have a backbone to watch the news. You do. You have to have courage. You have to be able to sit there and listen to 96% lies.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm not going to say 100 because they're not. They might say this happened on that date. That's where that 1% come from. And they may say that happened on that day. That's what the rest is a lie or a misrepresentation. But we have to watch it because that's how we gauge their ignorance. And also the people. Remember, don't forget drugs. Don't forget homelessness. Don't forget the churches. All of those, that's part of our stuff that we have to do. That's what we have to do. Beginning right now. Well, it ain't beginning. No, we've been working on it. We've been thinking about it. We've been moving in that direction. But America's sick. The best way to call people to Islam is by doing this Islamic work. Feeding the people, housing the homeless, and not saying, if anybody do a thing, if CARE do anything for anybody, they take pictures of it and put it on it. If ICNA do anything, they take pictures of it and put it on it. We ain't going to do that. We're not going to advertise nothing like that. Because that's not what we're trying to do, is show everybody what we're doing. We're going to do the work. Whatever word needs to get around, it'll get around. Okay. I mentioned wait till after the anniversary. Strategic actor, strategic manager. Okay. Qasem Soleimani was a strategic actor. Very good at what he did. I am a strategic ideologue. You have to admit it. Just read all of As-Sabiqun and listen to what we talked just the last couple of days. That's what I do. And do it very well, because we have missed if you have to analyze and listen to what people say and do, and then you judge how accurate they are. You don't judge it by what I want. That's care. That's everybody else. They analyze things by what we want. We want America to be, that's what Zarif did. I want America to be like this. He's not a bad guy. He just wanted, he didn't analyze according to the way America is. And moving forward, we have to also be kind and not cautious, but kind to the people, because the people are where they are. They are where they are. I mean, when your phone say put stuff on a cloud, that's where they are, hidden. They're not, what we're talking about here today, how many people in the United States would analyze it the same way? How many Muslims would? They don't do it. They're on a cloud, or they behind a cloud. They can't see, ain't no sunlight shining on them. We have to treat them like they are to get them to the sunlight. That's what we got to do. We can't argue with people, nigga, you don't know that. And get frustrated, or you'll be finished. You'll wipe yourself out, because you want them to wake up today, or tomorrow, or in the morning, or tomorrow afternoon. They wake up when they get ready. We can organize and structure the information and the flow to the best of our ability. And then we've done our job on them. We can feed the people who are hungry. That's what we'll do, inshallah. They don't have to say thank you. They don't have to cut the grass. They don't have to do nothing. We feed them because they're hungry. They appreciate it. They don't. It's not our business. It's not our business. The Quran don't say. In fact, the Quran is basically like, don't give charity and then stand around reminding people, yeah, man, I hooked you up, right? In other words, you do it for my cause. You do it for Allah's cause, right? Everything we do, that's part of the purification of our nafs, our behavior. That's why, remember when people was messing around a little bit and you'd get a little mad? You can't do that. You can't do it. You just can't do it. Because if boss man first boss man knows that most people are like that anyway. They don't want you to fall all in the street, but if you give somebody something, most people don't mind if you say, well, thank you very much, and I really appreciated that. No, don't worry about it. In fact, be prepared that they'll throw a spitball at you or something for helping them. They just might. But you get the reward for doing good. So remember, some people are strategic actors. Some are strategic ideologues. Now it's time for us to put our strategic action into our strategic ideology into attitude. We're not in the stage of our strategic ideology as being passive or defensive. Passive means that we don't argue with the white man. No, boss man, you did that, that's okay. Oh, Negroes, you did that, that's okay. Okay. So now, this may be some things that that we're not used to. For instance, what have they used to crack down on the people? Guns, drugs, right? Yeah. All the police forces, their main job is drug enforcement. They have 200,000, oh, they got more than that, extra police to deny people their rights, right? So, well, I will, y'all don't have to. We may advocate the legalization of drugs, not for Muslims, but for the people. Why? Because y'all may not remember Prohibition. I don't remember it either, but I remember it from the movies and from shaping my life for something happened during Prohibition. Prohibition lasted 12 years, 1920 to 1932. When Prohibition produced, what did it do? Before Prohibition, they had vice. Vice was usually prostitution and gambling on a mediocre level. By the mid-1920s, alcohol produced guys like Al Capone. Do you know he made $720,000 a week in Chicago? That's that money at that time. 720,000. Let's say 720 million almost, something like that, in today's money. Because remember, peppermint candy was 1 penny in those days. Yeah. You could get 2 or 3 pieces of candy for a penny. A candy bar was a penny in those days. Or Baby Ruth, later on, another Snicker, or they didn't have them. Those was a penny. In my time, they was a nickel. A nickel. A Coke in the South was 5 cents. When you got past Oklahoma, the price was a dime still. Okay, when I went to California, when I go back down south, Cokes was still a nickel. Okay, money had a different value, but $720,000 organized crime came out of Prohibition. Big gangsters with big money, they could buy police departments. They had revenuers running around, government agents, trying to keep alcohol away. But guess what? There's a book called The Alcoholic Republic. Do you remember a time when almost everybody in America drank and smoked? On an airplane, people don't smoke. You can't smoke on the airplane. There was a time you jump on the airplane smoking and drinking. You could carry a pistol. I'd carry a pistol. All of my dope, when I first started, I'd have it in a shopping bag on the plane. Right? Because it's $11 to go down to LA, and I'd fill up me a shopping bag full of marijuana, kilos of marijuana, and I'd bring my shopping bag, and I'd just put it, because nobody, can you imagine there was a time there was no wondering what's going on? We want to get America back like that. You can't do it with all these police departments. You can't do it with people thinking that there's terrorism here, terrorism there. Remember, who uses all of that to take our rights? The government. First it was crime, high crime neighborhoods. Black people 30, 40 years ago. Now it's everybody, right? First, we want to watch the Muslims. Now they're watching everybody, right? We have to help the American people to reshape this whole society. Not to get it back, but to get it forward to what we would call a good society. That's what we have to do. That's what our goal is. Our goal hasn't changed. So we have to make America, with God's help, a good place to live. Let me see. Okay. Da, 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 da. Well, I'll close with the last thing, a few things about Iraq, Qasem Soleimani, forces everywhere. That's why they killed him. Remember, in Iraq, they wanted to control the oil. They developed Daesh and all of those people in order to have a reason to be there. And now they don't have a reason to be there. So Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, all of those places, in Iraq and Iran, all of those places are our allies. That don't mean they're perfect. We used to be 100% against Syria, because Syria is kind of a dictatorship, like. But Syria has the best policy for Palestine and other things. Okay. We know that our people are the ones that challenge Israel, and the fear basically in our people are all gone. The Oakland story, we've been writing it, but we're going to write it in a more professional way. And we talked about all the regional transformation that should go on, but now regional transformation relates to us. We talked about base areas. Sometimes you have to let them go so that they don't divert you away from the main task. You have to give up a base area. So that, if this thing is as big as we see it, that means we could spend a whole lot less time on Oakland. A lot less time. Okay, we're going to take care of Oakland. We're going to do all of what we have to, but we're not bound. Our mind is not, and we've been saying this for months, our mind is not frozen in Oakland, because Oakland automatically was a diversion. To divert us, the white man could see where we were headed and what we was thinking about and talking about. So Oakland has always been a diversion. It's been their trap, and it's been a diversion. Oakland to us is just like the martyrdom of Soleimani. Except we didn't get martyred. That don't mean they wasn't trying. Because when you bust a 73-year-old man upside the head the way they was moving on me, ain't no guarantee that, you know what I mean? They wasn't holding back or nothing. They might have thought that that's what they would do. We'll kill this nigga. We'll beat him to death. They were actually, that was an assault. And I looked like it too. Just like Brother Ayub said, you lose consciousness, right? I guess that comes from your medical training as a fireman, right? Anybody that went through that kind of trauma should be out for the count, right? Yeah. Generally, out for the count. Especially upside the head, repeatedly.
That trauma and that loss, that amount of blood.
That much loss of blood. That blood was kicked. That was a lot of blood. You could see the stream. It's coming down in the streams. Okay? So, technically, I didn't get martyred. And the other thing, we used that. We didn't have the whole understanding, but now that's a badge to wear. To say to the other people, when we say take it easy and do what you want, when you want, how you want, and where you want. We got the badge to prove it. Well, you couldn't do that. I said, yes, we've already done that. We do it in our own environment. We have done that. We have taken the brunt of what they can put out here. Right? And we proved that. You remember when you visited me in the hospital? It says, you look sadder than I did. The way you, oh man, because you was looking at the top of my head. I guess I look like Frankenstein or something up there. And then, you know, when I come out of the hospital, I was holding on, walking. You know, the people would think I was in bad shape, but I was in good shape psychologically. Because what was the one word I could say? Optimism. I think that's optimism. I couldn't say nothing else. When they come in and test me, you know, because they test you. Where are you? I look at the bulletin board on the GW. What date is it? January 6th, same day, January 5th. What year? Since I'm looking at it, 2019. They said, you're looking at the board. I said, no, I ain't. They said, okay, turn this way. Now, where are you? Damn if I know. I don't know where I am. What's your name? I just sit there. I don't know my name. What do you mean, what is my name? How am I supposed to know my name, beat all upside the head like this? Right? You know, when they come in the ring and they say, how many fingers I got? Or, what round is this? If you don't answer, they take you out, right? They say, you can't. That's the way it is over there at the hospital. I mean, it was a long time before I could answer hardly anything. Then I started answering, and then they said, okay, go ahead. But when I came out, I still couldn't make I couldn't make sentences. None. For a long time, I couldn't make sentences. So that was what I was supposed to happen, so I would prove. Now the government knows. I called, the police was there, they took a report, I called them and reported it too. There ain't nothing happened. Nothing. Didn't you say you had a video with them outside of the Masjid?
Yeah.
Saying that I'm in there sitting down?
Yeah, they actually recorded them being at the
Right
before they assaulted you.
Right before they recorded it. They got it, and they put it on their thing, right?
Put it on Facebook.
Allahu Akbar. Look what we got. We got that and more. Okay. The point is that if you have a policy, if you know the main outline of your policy, you don't have to know what everything is for exactly. We knew what that was for, but it was for more than that. We didn't realize it was for this at this time. And we said it the other night, right? We did say that when we tell people this, that was just before this thing happened. That when we tell the people to relax, to take it easy, and to do things when you want and how you want and when you want it, we got the right to say that. Okay. So anyway, that's all we're saying. Anyway, let me see what else is here. That might be enough for today. We'll have our program on Tuesday, and it'll be quite a long program because we're going to have a meeting too out of, little stuff. Okay. That's it. I want to show you all a few pictures. This is one of my favorite pictures right here. This is a young guy down in what they call Huweza. Huweza is the swamps in southern Iran. And this is a young guy. You can see the dead guy here. You can see their boots. You can see all of that stuff there. He has a bolt-action rifle instead of Kalashnikov, so he's probably a sniper. Okay? During this war, this is a book, excuse me a second, this is a book that has tons of pictures all related to martyrdom. Blood here, blood there, everything. That was the first anniversary of the revolution. That was a surprise. Martyr Muhammad Ali Raja'i was the president. There's another friend of his who was a prime minister. I think he was elected and he was martyred after 60 days. When they martyred him, they have a saying in Iran, or Shias have, Iran has become Karbala and every day is Ashura. That's how many martyrs he was getting every day. Oh, I mean, this is one of the old books that's full of martyrdom. Martyrdom. Everywhere. So anyway, this is one of our favorite books. Of course, it's been out of print for 40 years, but it's okay. This is the imposed war. This is the equipment for poison gas. But in the Fao Peninsula and down in the south, it's 120, 122 degrees normally during that time of the year. So they would have to take that off. Everything here, almost, and this war, it relates to martyrdom also. This is the imposed war with Iran. They came and they destroyed most of the southern part of Iran. These are the people that they sent to Europe to treat for poison gas. This is, I got this book, this is what most of Iran looked like in the south during the war. Some of the cities were so destroyed that they didn't rebuild them. They rebuilt that city next to the rubble. That's the way they did. There's too much rubble. They had to move rubble. So they said, we'll build a city next to this place. That's the way many of the cities are in the south. Just look at these waterways. It's just destroyed. Okay. At that time, I'm just saying this for the last time so you understand who they're dealing with. During the war, you can see how they feel about blood. Martyrdom is no big deal. You know, martyrdom is like Bruh Rabbit and Bruh Bear. Please don't throw me in the briar patch. Right? The briar patch.
Where the rabbit wants to be.
That's exactly where the rabbit want to be. That's where he want to be. That's where we do, boss man. Oh, boss man, don't do that. You ain't gonna do that, boss man. I'm on the phone. I hope boss man don't do this. I hope boss man don't do that. And that's what boss man do every time. Every time. That's how we get the life that we've gotten. Okay. Young boys would hold hands when they had to clear minefields. Those 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, that age, usually 13, 14, 15, they would hold hands and walk through the minefield and clear the minefield so the troops could come. That's what they would do. As soon as wasn't nobody looking, they know we're trying to get through the minefield. They would take off all their helmets and stuff and walk through they would just run through the minefield. They'd clear the minefield. for the troops. Okay, you can't whoop nobody like that. That's why Iraq couldn't do nothing with them. Iraq was supported by America. T-72 tanks, T-54 tanks from the Soviet Union, Exocet missiles from France, tanks from Chieftain tanks from Britain, American foodstuffs, food credits, poison gas, chemicals to make the poison gas and the formula from Germany and England. Money from Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. Egyptian pilots, Egyptian technicians. Remember how advanced Egypt was at that time amongst there. Egyptian pilots, Egyptian technicians, Sudanese mercenary, Jordanian regulars. Everybody was there helping Saddam. Iran in those days didn't have no assistance from nobody. The only Arab country that didn't fight against it was Syria. That's why Iran is so serious about aiding Syria now. It remembers the war, and that they're the only ones, and Syria also let Iranian troops come through and go to Lebanon and train Hezbollah and all that. By the mid-'80s, in the late 80s, they got Hezbollah that developed. Hey, and Israel talk about they want to fight Iran. Iran is the professor. The student that kicked they behind. Hezbollah is the only people. In 2000, the Israelis packed up and left. Then when they reattacked in 2006, you know, everybody was crying big tears. Not us. You know what we said? Bashirun, this is good news. They said, that nigga's over there crazy. That nigga is crazy. That's what the Lebanese said. The dumb Lebanese. And all the Arabs, this man is saying that's good news. I said, it's good news. Good news, boy. They're going to wear old homeboy out. You never saw on TV Israeli tank drivers and everything crying. Big tears. I don't know if you saw that. Crying. They got stuff we don't know. We can't find them. We can't see them. They thought they was Indians. You know, Indians used to do a ghost dance, and they think they wouldn't get shot. Well, in Lebanon, they must have been doing it, and they didn't get shot. Not like Indians.
That's what they call Suleimani. They call him the ghost.
Yeah, they actually did. They used to call. They said he was the boogeyman. Yeah, that's what they called him. Like that's the way they vilified him, man. Like,
look, alhamdulillah. The point is, we thank everybody for being here. I just wanted you to see some of these pictures so you would understand. This environment has returned 100% with modern connotations. The people are acting, I'm listening to them. The sound is exactly the sound that they had 40 years ago. No, when I'm listening to this thing, the sound is the same. The environment is the same. The martyrdom, except we got 40 years of stability and proven tactics and strategy that work. This don't feel like that. This feels like that era because of the historical closeness. But when we used to have the first, the second, the third anniversary, hey man, I remember the third anniversary of the revolution. We said, man, we might make this. Remember, This hasn't happened in history. This is in the middle of the war. There are no guarantees. None. Each anniversary was a victory. By the time we got to the 7th anniversary, we were starting to move around a little bit, you know, loosen up a little. I'm telling you, dear believers, this is the new time. I hope everybody feel it and act according to it, because we're getting ready to take off and do our part. Are there any questions or any comments about any of this? You must remember that Negroes also have the ability at strategic management. They can be as good as any of the white folks they've had in history. Almost, they would have to be. That sounds funny. They would have to be, because they're surrounded by America. Half the time they're by themselves. They have to have sense. Not to get caught up with nothing. What about paranoia? White man watching me. What about, we ain't got no money? You ain't went broke yet, right? What about anything? Everybody's the police. Anybody the police now? It didn't make no difference in the past, and it don't make no difference now. All we got for police is a job. That's what we got, a job. We got work for you. You want a job? You can have the white man's job and our job too. You get double pay. Yeah, well, pay you. Maybe later. No, it may get to be a big time when people have to divert all their time to it, you know. But later on, don't worry. Something will happen. But I'm telling you, man, this is it. Are there any questions or any comments about anything? If there's no questions or comments, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Alhamdulillah. All right.